Episode 37, AI Meets Public Sector Marketing, a NotebookLM Conversation.
The AI6 Podcast with Joanne Sweeney.
I had an idea. What if I uploaded a chapter of my book, Public Sector Marketing Pro, into Google's NotebookLM and asked it to have a two-way conversation about how digital communications in government have transformed post-pandemic? Well, that's exactly what I did. Hello and welcome to the AI6 Podcast. I'm Joanne Sweeney. In today's episode, you'll hear a fascinating AI-generated discussion where NotebookLM acts as both interviewer and analyst, breaking down key insights from my book, Public Sector Marketing Pro, the second edition. In it, the AI-generated interviewer and analyst explore how government communications has evolved, what's changed since the pandemic, and how AI is shaping the next era of digital public engagement.
All right, welcome to your personalized deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at how the COVID-19 pandemic, completely reshaped how governments talk to us, to their citizens.
It's true.
Our source for this deep dive is the introduction to the second edition of Public Sector Marketing Pro.
Okay.
And this book argues that the pandemic wasn't just, this huge health crisis,
Right.
but like a turning point for how governments connect with their citizens, especially, in our digital age, right?
Yeah, it's like COVID, it really forced governments to get good at digital communication really fast.
Yeah.
Before the pandemic, like a lot of government agencies, they kind of treated digital communication as just like another thing to do.
Yeah, just another tool.
Not really central to their strategy.
Right. But then COVID hit,
Yeah.
and everything changed, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Like overnight.
The book really makes this point that digital communication, it wasn't just another tool anymore. It was like the vital channel,
Right.
the central way to reach people.
Yeah.
I mean, the book actually says, and this is a direct quote, in the absence of a vaccine, there is only one antidote to COVID-19. And that is effective digital communications, whereby citizens hear, understand, and act on public health advice disseminated online and in mainstream media.
Wow, that's a pretty powerful statement.
Yeah.
It really shows like how important clear communication was during that time, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Like when there's so much uncertainty.
Think about it, like from your own experience.
Yeah.
Suddenly it's like government websites, there's social media, that's where we were getting all the updates, right? The guidelines, what to do, what not to do.
Yeah.
And just like a sense of like what was happening.
I remember feeling this intense need to just constantly check for updates.
Oh, yeah.
Like what's going on? What's the latest?
For sure.
And the book actually mentions that people doubled the amount of time they were spending online.
Yeah.
And get this, messaging increased by like 500%. It's incredible, isn't it?
It's huge.
Like the whole information landscape, it just shifted.
Yeah.
Like before the pandemic, it was all about, brands, celebrities, that kind of thing.
Right, yeah.
But with COVID, it was all about, government officials, the scientists, the public health experts.
So instead of looking to, like our favorite brands or influencers for guidance, we were looking to government agencies.
Exactly.
For information about a global health crisis. That's a pretty big shift, isn't it?
Oh, it's huge. It really makes you think about how much the pandemic changed our relationship with institutions, like who we trust, where we get our information.
For sure.
But, this new reliance on digital information, it also brought a new challenge because now you have all this information online.
Yeah.
But some of it's legitimate, some of it's not.
Yeah.
And it's hard to tell the difference sometimes.
Right. How did that impact the way that governments had to communicate with citizens?
Well, they basically had to adopt these online channels.
Yeah.
Like overnight, it became their primary way of getting information out.
Yeah.
The old ways, like town hall meetings and press conferences, they just weren't reaching people who were in lockdown,
Right. Everyone was stuck at home.
So it's this shift to digital-first communication, really driven by necessity.
Makes sense.
But it really changed the game.
So it wasn't just about like the tech they were using, right?
Right.
It was like their whole approach to communication had to evolve.
Absolutely. The book uses this really interesting phrase to describe this.
Okay.
It calls it Netflix-sized nation.
Netflix-sized nations. What does that even mean?
Basically, what the author's getting at is that people are so used to, streaming services, getting their entertainment on demand.
Yeah, we want it now.
That they expect the same thing from their governments, right?
Like instant information.
Yeah, like if I can binge watch my favorite show, why can't I get instant answers from my government?
The AI6 Podcast with Joanne Sweeney.
So, after listening to that, I want to ask you, how will you use NotebookLM? Do you want to stay ahead in AI marketing? Check out my professional diploma in AI for marketers, or you can hire me to deliver an in-company workshop. Use the code AI610 for an exclusive discount. The AI6 Podcast for marketers embracing the AI age. I'll talk to you on the next episode.